Okay, so you ready to talk about Allah and women or no?
Okay, before we talk about that, can I just
Here
ask one question really quickly?
we go again. Here we go again.
Okay,
What's the
so
name of what's the name of the session?
okay, yeah, I know it's
Okay,
for
are we ready to talk about Allah and how He treats women, or are you gonna go off tangents? So let me know if I'm wasting my time.
okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so you sure you're a Muslim?
Yes,
You believe in the Quran?
yes. I'm a new convert, but yes.
Oh my goodness, you converted from what?
Well, I don't know I believed in God, but I didn't believe in religion.
But what was your background?
My parents, they're kind of like ex-Muslims. They're from Morocco, but when
Oh,
they
ex.
came,
Okay, I see. I see. All right. Well, then that makes a difference. So they're ex-Muslims. They left Islam. What did they become?
um, my father's more of like an atheist, and my mother, she says she's a Muslim, but like she doesn't follow a hadith and a lot of things.
All right, and that's okay. Then you're in a different class from the others, okay? Because I thought you'd be a Dawagandist. All right. So what was your question? Let me see what you want to ask me before I open up about Muhammad and women.
Okay, so my first question, I saw a video on TikTok where you were talking to someone, and I
Yeah.
forgot the ayah, but I think it was from Surah Al-Imran, where Allah Azza wa Jal said that if you would have asked the Prophet for forgiveness, he would have
Yeah.
had prayed for your forgiveness. So you
That's Surah
said,
An-Nisa.
oh, Surah Al-Nisa, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
So
let me
you
get it.
said,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
you said that Ali ibn Abu Talib, radiallahu anh, he said that uh, with
Yep, that's
this
me.
ayah, this ayah that you go and you make salam to the grave of the Prophet alayhi
No, I
salatu
didn't say
wasalam.
he said that. No, I said Ali narrated. You misheard. You didn't hear correctly.
Okay, sorry.
Ali narrated that when your prophet had recently died, a man came to the grave on this passage and asked Muhammad to pray for him.
Okay,
Sure.
but
Yep.
um, if I read, I don't know if you know it because a tafsir that I like to read, it's good for beginners. It's called Tafsir Sa'di.
No,
Have
that's
you heard?
not good. That's what the Salafis told you. The Salafi told you read Tafsir as-Sadi because it's a Salafi translation. They translate in English, and the Salafis do not agree with the mainstream Sunnis, which you're going to learn because it seems like you're a Salafi. They don't believe in what's called tawassul. They think it's shirk, but they're a minority opinion. The majority
That's a
opinion,
Sufi thing, no?
what is it?
It's a Sufi thing. It's not a Sunni
No,
thing.
no. You're still young. You don't know. No, it's not a Sufi thing. Tawassul has been affirmed by Muslims from centuries ago, and it's based on narrations that are deemed authentic, like the hadith of the blind man. It's you Salafis that try to demonize it by saying it's a Sufi thing. So, no, I'm aware of what you believe. You're a Salafi. No, you believe that tawassul is shirk, and I agree with you, but not because your prophet didn't teach it. He taught tawassul. So that's why we consider you guys pagans. We don't consider you guys true monotheists. You are pagans, especially when you kiss the black stone. But even forget that hadith. So this tafsir Saddi, you want to go to him, but you don't want to read what Ibn Kathir says about chapter 4, verse 64, where he narrates from Utbi that a man went to the grave on the basis of this passage. And even Darus Salam, to show you how dishonest you Salafis are, Darus Salam, when they translated Ibn Kathir in English, that hadith of Ibn Kathir, they didn't include in the English, even though it's in the Arabic. They didn't include it in English because that's how dishonest the Salafis are. Because they believe in a certain understanding of Islam, which rules out tawassul, wasila. Okay, but since you're a Salafi, let me engage you. I hope you're not going to flash me on the camera. Forget about the hadith of Ali. Chapter 4, verse 64. The Quran is a message for people to the all generations till the end of the age. How the hell do you carry out chapter 4, verse 64?
I don't understand your question.
Since the Quran is guidance for all Muslims till the end of the time, right?
Yeah.
How do you carry out the guidance of this passage now that your prophet is dead? Here, let me show you
Well,
what I mean. Go ahead.
I guess I preach, or like I would guess I give dawah about the Quran and Sunnah.
That's not what the ayah says. The ayah says, if you come to him and you seek forgiveness of Allah and he prays for you, you'll find Allah most willing to forgive. How do I carry this command? How do I
Oh, okay.
act?
Oh, this command. Okay, yeah. Well, from what I read, it was something that was only done at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, because
Where does it say only at his time? So this
well,
command is only for Muhammad and his generation, so it has no benefit for you.
no, I don't think so.
So you just proved that your Quran is time bound. It's for specific people at a specific time because this passage is now abrogated. It's obsolete.
Well, there are certain. If I read the verse correctly, it says that if you had asked forgiveness to the Prophet, so it talks about the people before, and also there are, I
So how
think,
do
like,
I do that now? So it's not for me then. So it's only for Muhammad's time. Now that he's dead, this is now useless. That's what you
well,
just said.
it's like the verse where it says to cut off the heads of the disbelievers. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this was a verse revealed for a certain
No, you
time.
are mistaken because that's the same passage that all jihadis use whenever they're performing jihad. It's not just for that time. Anytime you do jihad, you're going to act upon these passages.
Yeah, of course, but if you take this verse like out of context, you're gonna say, "Oh, okay, why don't you go and strike off the head of the disbelievers?" This verse,
Yeah,
if
why
I,
don't you?
tell me,
No, that's actually true. Why don't you?
well, because this verse was taken, if I'm not mistaken, it was in a context where it was during a war,
What
and
war? Who initiated the war?
uh, that I don't know which battle it was, so I don't.
You're going into too many issues that you're going to confuse yourself. Let's keep it simple. So, number one, you just admit this passage is now obsolete. That's okay. I'm glad you admit that because you're saying it was only for that time when your prophet was there. Since he's not here, it doesn't apply to you, right?
I guess so.
Okay. So, you don't accept tawassul where you seek the intercession of Muhammad now that he's dead or
Directly,
the.
no. Directly, no.
Okay, so then why do you pray to him directly when you pray 5 times a day?
Yeah, I've seen what you said, and
Okay,
from what
address
I've
it.
heard, from what I've heard, it's because أيها النبي, when you say that, you're not like necessarily talking to him and
No, you are
direct.
talking to him. No, you are. If you read Ibn Kathir, you read the Mufassirin, and if you actually go with those who are not Salafi but they're Sunni, like Muhammad ibn al-Yaqubi, who's Ahl al-Bayt, says, no, you are talking to him because your prophet in authentic narrations claim that there's an angel assigned to him who lets him know while he's in the grave that you are greeting him and he returns your salam.
Okay, before we continue, could you please define the difference between Salafi and Sunni? Because for me, it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
No, because not all Sunnis are Salafi. Hamza Yusuf is a Sunni, he's not Salafi. Okay. Muhammad ibn al-Yaqubi is a Sunni, he's not Salafi. He's an
Hamza
Ashari.
Yusuf is a Sufi, from what I know. Sorry for cutting you.
No, Sufi, the tasawwuf is a practice that has been observed even by scholars that you accept. For example, Ibn Taymiyyah, he condemned extreme forms of tasawwuf, but he was not against tasawwuf. Put that aside. Hamza Yusuf is a Sunni. Zayd Shakir is a Sunni. Yasir Qadi is a Sunni, but they don't identify as Salafi. Muhammad ibn al-Yaqubi is Sunni. He's from Ahlul Bayt, but he doesn't identify as Salafi. They would say they're Ashaira, Ashari, Maturidi. And what's the difference? According to you Salafis, Salaf Salih, you believe that Allah has a shin, He
Yes.
has a foot, He has hands, there are 2 right hands, and eyes. They're actual sifat, is the term you'll use, attributes, unlike anything creation, but we don't allegorize them. The Ashaira, the Ashari, the Maturidi will say, no, the word hand means Allah's power. Eyes means that He sees, He's aware. They would do what you would call ta'wil, allegorize them. That's one major difference between the two of you. So Hamza Yusuf is not a Salafi. He doesn't believe Allah has actual eyes, unlike anything creation, or an actual shin, unlike anything creation. You do if you're Salafi, right?
Yes.
Okay, so since you're a Salafi and you just converted, I need to ask you some questions because you're always talking about the Trinity is not rational. I'm going to show that you're not rational. I'm going to show your view. So Allah has eyes. They're actual eyes, but unlike anything, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't resemble his creation.
But even my hands do not resemble that of a dog. Yeah, so his hands aren't like anything. But
Yeah.
my hands aren't like any dog hands, even though there are
Well,
other humans like me. My point is to tell me that Allah has hands that aren't like anything creation. You can say that of any species in creation. Human hands aren't like the hands of a dog. Human feet are like the feet of a gorilla. Any species, their body parts is unlike the body parts of another species. So Allah is species unique. He has his own hands, but they're unlike anything. But he has hands, right?
Yeah.
Are they right and left or two right hands?
Two right hands.
How many right hands?
Two.
Okay. So you believe your God has two right hands?
No, not like this. Not
Okay,
like
but
this.
yes, however you imagine him, they're on his right side, right?
Listen, I say when he says two right hands, I don't like to picture it in my
Yeah,
head.
because you see, you understand how you sound. You sound irrational, and you know it makes no sense to your blind follower. That's okay. That's what I'm trying to highlight. You can't say it because you know it sounds stupid. Wait, two right hands on his right side? Well, it's got to be on his right side. Well, why are they right hands? Even though it's unlike anything. So he has a shin,
Yes.
and you're going to recognize him when he unveils his shin, right?
Do you have a hadith for that? I'm not aware
Yes.
of.
Yes, it's in Sahih Bukhari. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Let me get it.
Well, if it says, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I'll get you the links in a minute. But okay, so yeah, okay. So your God has a shin. He has two right hands. He has eyes. Okay. And he also wears an izar, a waist sheet. Because according to Bukhari, when Allah created, the womb pulled on his waist sheet, yanked on his izar. So your God wears a waist sheet. You know that, right?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that.
Well, let me show it to you because I don't want you to think I'm lying. Okay. Okay, so you have a God that has two right hands. You have a God, right? Hold on, let me just do this. Let me get the article for you. 1 second. You have a God that has a shin and a waist sheet, but it's unlike anything in creation. Here you go. Here's the article. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to show it to everyone else. So, if Allah has hands, those are uncreated, right? I just gave you the link. Okay. Now, I'm going to post the hadith for everyone to see. Okay, so they're uncreated. Now, where does it say that Allah has a waist sheet that he wears in his eye? Let me just do it 1 second. Okay, here you go. Let me get it from you. I'll get it to you from Ibn Kathir quoting. He's quoting Bukhari. Here's the link. You can click on it with your own eyes and see, okay? So here it is for everyone. Here it is for you right there. Right there, that's for you. That's Ibn Kathir quoting Bukhari. And I can get you Bukhari from sunnah.com. But now let's see what it says. You ready? I'm going to quote it. Okay.
Okay.
Look what he says. I want you to see. This is Ibn Kathir. I just gave you guys the link, translated by Darus Salam. Darus Salam. Okay. Here it is. Many authentic and sound hadiths, many mutawatir, sahih, have been reported through numerous routes of transmission from Allah's Messenger in this regard. Al-Bukhari recorded from Abu Huraira that Allah's Messenger said, after Allah completed creating the creation, the womb stood up and pulled at the lower garment of the Most Merciful. It pulled on his garment, his waist sheet. So your God wears a garment, right?
Wait, because I clicked on the link. Where is it exactly on the link?
It's there. Well, it's in the hadith. I mean, it's in Ibn Kathir. If you want to find it real quick, this is what you do. If you have a Mac, you do Command F.
Yeah, that's what. Did I write Bukhari?
What is it?
Did I? Okay, wait.
You just put in womb. Put in womb. It's going to take you right there. Do you see it? After Allah completed creating the creation, the womb stood up. Right there. Just do Command F and put womb. It'll take you right there in Ibn Kathir. Okay. And if you read above it, he gives you the Arabic and he says many. Okay, so you see I'm not lying. So it says many. If you go before it, it says many authentic sound hadiths. And then it gives you the Arabic and then the English, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see it, right?
Yeah.
So your God wears an izar, a garment, a waist sheet?
Well, I again, like you put me
Read
on the
it,
spot.
it's there,
man. Yeah, I get it's there, but yeah, Ibn Kathir said he got that from Bukhari.
No, he said he got it from Bukhari, who got it from Abu Huraira. I can give it to you from Bukhari. Read it. It says, Al-Bukhari narrated Abu Huraira said, and then he gives you the Arabic. and then the English translation. I can get it to you from Bukhari directly here. Okay, you want me to get it directly?
Yeah,
Do you
that
see
would
where
be
it
nice.
says Al-Bukhari recorded from Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him?
Yeah, I read that.
So that's Bukhari.
Yeah,
And he gives you Arabic. And I'll get you the link, Bukhari. But do you see that your God wears a garment, a waist sheet?
yeah. From what I see, yes, but I'll need to do more research on this.
Please do more research because I want to know, why is he
Yeah,
wearing a garment around his loins? Does your God have nuts?
I saw you on the live said that he does, but
Yes, it does. Because the Arabic word hakwa means gonads. Here, the translation is not being faithful to the Arabic. The Arabic is hakwa, meaning gonads. He has nuts.
well, I mean, because I've honestly never heard that before.
Oh, it's common to the Muslim scholars. I'm not making it up. You can ask them here. The actual word is here. Here's an actual authentic translation of Bukhari. Abu Huraira narrated on the authority of the Prophet, when God completed creation, the Rahim stood up and seized the loin of the merciful, bi Haqwa al-Rahman. Haqwa, his loin, not his garment, his loin, his nuts. So even if you don't accept that, you can go and verify it. Let me get you the link from Bukhari directly that it says the garment. We'll go with garment. But that means Allah's covering his loins, his lower part. Why? What is he covering? What does he not want you to see? When I wear a garment, it's because I don't want you to see my nuts. Why is your God wearing a garment? What is he covering? What does he not want you to see?
Well, I don't know much on this, so I can't really speak.
Okay, that's fine. I won't pressure you. But the point is, if you believe what you believe, then you believe. Let me try to find it here online. The womb. Okay. Oh, well, let me find it here because I want to find it for you. Let's see. Let me get the actual hadith of Bukhari. The womb. Here it is. Here it is, right here. Sunnah.com, Sahih Bukhari. Here you go. If you believe and believe, that means Allah cannot be the creator of all shape, space, and place. Because for him to have hands, for him to have eyes, for him to have a shin, for him to wear a garment, that means he has a shape. And this shape means he must occupy space. Well, that means that shape is uncreated and the space he occupies is uncreated. So your God did not create everything. He didn't create his sifat, we won't say body parts, and the space that he occupies to exist. So you got a problem doing it, and you're talking about us Trinitarians. And here's the link. Did you get the link? Here it is.
No, I didn't.
Here it is right there. Click on it. This is now from Bukhari directly, and I'm going to put it on for everyone to see. All right. So now let me just get it here. Here it is. And this is Muhammad's commentary on chapter 47, verse 22. 47, verse 22. Here it is, of the Quran. Here it is. Let me post it for you guys to see it. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's messenger said, Allah created the creation. When he finished from it, his creation, the Rahim, got up and Allah said to it, stop. What do you want? Got up, stop. What do you want? So conveniently, they took out that it yanked on the garment. But that's fine. You still see it. It said, at this place I seek refuge with you. So point being, go back and see. This is what Bukhari says on the narration from Abu Hurairah where he got it from Muhammad. So how do you explain the fact that if your God has a garment to cover his body parts, or even a garment, you don't want to say garment, because if I'm wearing a garment, I'm covering something. If I'm wearing shorts, I don't want you to see my nutsack. Your God wears a garment. I don't know why. I do know, but I'm just giving you a benefit of doubt. And I'm going to show you the shin, that he's going to unveil the shin. The shin. And he has two right hands. That means he has a shape. And that shape is uncreated because he didn't create his hands or his shin or his gonads or his eyes. They're uncreated. So he has an uncreated shape. And in that shape, he must have a space for that shape to exist. That means your God didn't create all shape, space, or place. See the problem that your prophet put you in? You can't have a shape without occupying space or place. So how does your God have a shape if he doesn't occupy space? And if that shape is uncreated, the space in which that shape exists is uncreated. So your prophet created a problem for you. You listening?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just processing.
Yeah. Now, it says your God also has a flank. You know, a side, a flank. Chapter 39, verse 56 of the Quran. Here it goes. Chapter 39, verse 56 of the Quran. 39, verse 56. Lest any soul should say, alas, my grief, that I was unmindful of the flank of Allah. Janbi or Jamb Allah. Jamb. Flank. He has a side. So he has a garment. He has a shin. So you're from our perspective, if you're reading the comments, your prophet is describing Allah as a grotesque looking figure. Two right hands. And by the way, the Arabic word for eyes is plural. It's three or more. You know that, right?
No, I didn't. Again, I'm new. Like
that's okay. Take the article and go back and ask your sheikh the word be here. Let me show it to you. Ask him, say, what does here when it says, so wait patiently, Muhammad, for the decision of your Lord, chapter 52, verse 48. Let me post it on the screen. 52:48. So wait patiently, O Muhammad, for the decision of your Lord, for verily you are under our eyes. Be ayunina. Ayunina means three or more. It's plural. So how many eyes does Allah have?
multiple, I guess.
It's not dual. The dual is ayn. Ayn. Okay? This is not ayn. It's ayunina, meaning three or more. Here's another one, chapter 11:39. So how many eyeballs does he have, or eyes, that aren't like anything in creation?
From what you said, I guess 3.
When you want to give up on this religion, dude, it makes no sense.
Okay, well, I know the subject is like women and
Yeah,
Islam.
don't ask me about the Trinity. I don't mind, but don't ask a question of the Trinity that would actually destroy your own religion.
Okay,
so be consistent. If you have an argument against the Trinity that makes you reject the Trinity, make sure it's not an argument that I can turn against Islam, making you reject Islam. Be consistent. Well, go ahead. What's your question?
I'm just like, and again, I know this is like a question you get all the time.
Well, that's
but
okay.
It's kind of hard for me to understand how a God came down to earth and like.
Remember I said don't ask that question? You know why? I'll tell you why. So you have a problem with God coming down to the earth, becoming man. Okay. But your Allah goes down to the lowest part of heaven.
But without resembling his creation. He doesn't.
But he still goes down, right?
Yeah, but
even the shin. Notice, take it easy, Ali. You're not saying anything. Allah still comes down, right?
Yes.
And Allah still has a shin, even though it's unlike any creation. So you're saying nothing when you say, well, it's unlike anything creation. I know that. But he still has to come down. Why does he have to come down? And why does he come down the third part of the night? Did Allah not know that there are certain parts of the world where it's night here, it's day there?
I don't understand your argument for the third part.
Why does Allah have to come down from above the throne to the lowest part of heaven, closest to the earth, to say, whoever now wants to pray and ask, I will hear. He can't hear from above the throne. Why does he have to go down? And isn't he going down into creation? Isn't heaven a creation? How does he enter his creation?
Yeah, but from what I've heard, there's one guy I really love. I think you should debate him. His name is Shamsi.
Oh, Shamsi, I'll destroy him. He's a joke. In fact, the Muslims have turned against him right now. He's a Madkhali.
No, he's not.
No, Shamsi, I'll destroy him. I will bury. He's too stupid. I'm being honest with you. I've had a challenge.
Live.
What?
He does TikTok lives like almost every day.
So, no, not on TikTok. Like last time when I went on the Muslim TikTok, 20 of them jumped me and I still embarrassed them and I got thrown out. No, that's not going to happen. He can ask for a neutral platform and I'll bury him because he's a joke. If you think he's smart, he's a joke. But you can go to Shamsi with his broken English that hardly anyone understands. Even Jibril has a hard time understanding. And ask him this question. My question to you is, why does Allah have to go down to the lowest heaven closest to the earth? That means he's entering in creation in order to ask people to pray and he'll answer them.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's
what's your problem with Jesus being the word of God, becoming flesh, entering the world to become a man?
I don't know. It's just for me, it's weird to worship a man.
So hold on. Okay, which you're okay worshiping a God that has a shin, at least three eyes, at least two right hands, who wears a garment, who has gonads, and has to come down to the lowest part of the heaven, and you're okay with worshiping that kind of freakish God. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but can
okay
you?
for you.
Yeah, I guess so. Can you like? I know it's gonna sound like hypocritical, but can you give me like arguments like without using Islam?
Yeah, I have to show you be consistent, because if you're going to reject Christianity, stop being a Muslim. Go back to like your father, be an atheist. But the arguments is, why can't Jesus be God who becomes man without ceasing to be God? What's the problem with that? You're telling me you don't accept, but that's your opinion. Why would that be a problem? Because I want you to listen carefully. I'm not trying to turn the subject. I want to come back to Jesus, but I want to show you what you supposedly believe. What you believe about the Quran is what we believe about Jesus. You believe Quran is Kalam Allah, the speech, the word of Allah that's uncreated. But it's also a book, Kitab. So if the Quran is uncreated, but it's a book, and that book is created, that's two natures. So why then would you have a problem with the word of God that's uncreated becomes flesh, becomes man? And as a man, he has a body that's created, but because he's the word, he is uncreated, that he can be both things at the same time.
Yeah, but the kitab, the part of Allah, when we say that the Quran is not created, we're talking about what's in the Quran, the speech of Allah Azza
Sure,
wa
but
Jal.
it's still a kitab, it's a book.
Yeah, but we don't worship the book. The book is not a part like the
You
full
don't need to
Quran
worship the
was
book.
was
That's
the
not my
full
point.
yeah, but the full
You don't need
Quran
to
was
worship
made
the
at
book.
the
I'm
time
just
of
saying, do you
Uthman.
agree with me, right? I'm not saying worship, we're going to get to worship. You at least accept the fact that the word can become physical and part of creation because the word became a book. That's
Okay,
all
yeah,
I'm
sure,
saying.
sure. Sure, sure.
And when I burn the Arabic Quran, I'm destroying that physical book, that material physical book, but the Quran itself is still uncreated, even though I may burn the Arabic Quran, right?
Yeah,
That doesn't mean I destroyed the Quran. The Quran still exists, right?
yeah.
So Jesus can die as a man, his body be killed, and still be alive, because you cannot wipe out Christ from existence. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. Trying to get
Okay.
you to see that first. So if Jesus is God, the Word, uncreated, one with God, inseparable from Him, and He becomes a man, then what do you do when you see God? You dance with Him or you worship Him?
Worship him.
So that's why we worship Jesus, because we know He's God who became flesh.
Oh, okay. And I had a question because I'm not really like I don't know a lot about Christianity, but Jesus is the Son, right?
Yep.
And before like everything, before the earth was created, there was always a Trinity according to your belief,
Yep.
right?
Father, Son, and Spirit. Yep.
Okay. So before everything was created, was the Son Jesus
The
or
Son, Jesus, always existed as the Son, because I just told you He's the Word of the Father. And God has never existed without His Word.
okay, but Jesus itself, like the human part, the
That
flesh.
was created from the Virgin. The Word came into the Virgin Mary to become flesh, human from her womb. He wasn't always man. He wasn't always called Jesus, but He's always the Word, the Son, who always existed.
Okay. Another, is it okay if I just like
No,
rapid
you can
fire
ask me that, but
questions?
you know what's amazing? Your Quran teaches what I just told you about Jesus.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Your Quran says what I just said about Jesus. It's in Surah An-Nisa,
Yeah,
chapter 4.
it's the word from God.
It says, Kalimatuhu, the word of Him that He did what with? Sent down into
Yeah.
Maryam. Okay, wait. If He was sent down into Maryam, that means He was up there. Up there with who?
With Allah.
So you just admit that Jesus, as the Word, was there with Allah, and then He came down to Mary. And when He came down to Mary, He came down as what? Ruhin minhu, spirit from Him.
Yeah, I guess so.
But wait, when did He become flesh then?
When did the, well, when he was born.
Oh, so you just agreed with us Christians. When He was there, He wasn't flesh, He wasn't a man. He was the Word of God, and as Word, He's spirit, not physical, but He comes down to become physical and flesh from Mary. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we teach, and it's in the Quran, 4171.
Without the aspect of him being a god. But my next
Well, hold on,
question,
hold
yeah,
on, wait. If the word is uncreated, how many uncreated are there? I'll let you ask your questions. I just want you to understand. Think more deeply what you're saying. If the word is uncreated, how many uncreated are there?
one. Well, I
And who
know
is that one that's uncreated?
Allah.
And but you just said the word is uncreated. But if only
Yeah,
Allah is uncreated, then what does that make his word?
yeah, but from what I've heard, it doesn't say that Jesus is the word of Allah. It says that it's the word. Actually, no, never mind, never mind. But
No, it does
I'd
say
have
that.
to do research.
No, in Sunni Islam, the two titles of Islam found in the Hadith is Kalimat Allah, Ruh Allah. Those are the names given to him in the Sunnah because it comes from the Quranic ayat that says a word of Allah from him. So he's called Kalimat Allah, word of Allah, Ruh Allah. Those are the two names given to Jesus in Islam. And it comes from the Sunnah of your Prophet. I have all the references. So no, he is called that. But point being, if the word is uncreated and only God is uncreated, then the word has to be God, meaning divine. Like your word is human in nature, right?
Sorry?
You're human, right? So when your word comes out of your mouth, what kind of quality is that? Is that human speech?
Yeah,
So your word is human in nature, right?
yeah,
And when an angel speaks, that would be angelic speech, right? So it's angelic in nature, right?
yeah.
So then the word of God, what nature would it have if it's from God?
Uh, God, godlike
You got
nature.
it. So Jesus is God in nature because if he's the word of God and God's word is not angelic speech or human speech, it's not created, then it's divine speech. So Jesus is divine, meaning God in nature. That's exactly what we teach.
Okay, my next question would be, how come Jesus worships another god?
He doesn't worship another God. He worships the Father because he's not the Father. But you sure you want to ask me that question, right? Okay,
Yeah,
let me explain it to you so you don't think I'm running. If Jesus is not the Father, but he's the Word of the Father, his Son that became flesh, and prayer is not just worship, it's communication. And Jesus is the perfect man. Do you want him to ignore the Father and not speak to him?
oh, okay. I thought when he was worshiping him, it was like, for example, like acknowledging that he was better than him, that the Father was better than him in
Better?
some way.
No, never better. There's never better. He is one with the Father, equal. And to use an analogy, but it's a human analogy, there's nothing like God. When you speak to your Father, you acknowledge your Father, not better than you, because he's the same nature as you, right?
Yeah, but
Are you
the,
less human than your Father?
am I less, sorry, you might cut up. Am I
Less
less what?
human? Are you less
No,
human than your Father?
no,
So then
no.
your Father cannot be better than you in nature because you're equal in nature, but he's
Yeah,
greater in authority, right?
yeah,
So you can be greater than someone in position, but equal to them in nature. So your Father, greater than you in authority, but you may be smarter than your Father, stronger than your Father, more wiser than your Father, more rich than your Father. But he's still your Father, and because he's your Father, he has authority over you, but you are equal in nature and value to him.
yeah,
So Jesus, being the Son of God, the Word of God, the Father has authority over his Son, but the Son has the same nature of the Father, and so is equal to the Father in nature and value. Don't confuse the two.
okay. Um, my next, okay, so just rapidly,
But
does
don't
the
wrap it up.
Father
I want to
worship?
talk to you, but can I ask you, and I'll let you ask your next question. You have a problem with Jesus, let's say, worshiping or praying to the Father, let's say, but you should know this if you follow me. According to your authentic tradition, even in the Quran, not only does Allah pray, but the Quran will actually come and speak with Allah, and the surahs of the Quran will come to Allah and argue with Allah to intercede for you who recite it. How's that possible?
I don't
How's
know.
that possible? I'll give you the hadith, but let me repeat what I just said. If the Quran is the speech of Allah and it's not a living entity, like Jesus is the speech, the word of the Father, but he is a living person, distinct from the Father, which is why he can speak to him, even though he's inseparable from him. If the Quran is not a living entity that can speak, how does the Quran and the surahs of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Imran, which is in the Sahih narration, I'm going to give it to you in a minute. Go before Allah and argue with Allah and make Allah forgive those that recite the Quran. How's that possible if this is Allah's speech? Is Allah speaking to himself?
Again, it would be hypocritical if I speak on something I don't know a
Well,
lot
let me give
about.
you the hadith. I'm going to give you the article in the hadith, and then you can go back to your scholar. So you don't think I'm lying. It's in from Sahih Muslim and other narrations that are deemed Sahih. So let me give it to you. Hold on. So you can get there because all the hadiths are there, and then I link to it online. The Talking Quran, Uthman ibn Farouk's lies exposed. So here it is for the rest of you. Because see, what did I say? Never use an argument against the Trinity that can be used against the Quran if you want to stay Muslim. You can be an atheist, and then we have a different conversation. But I just sent you the link. You see it in the private chat?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me show you where it says from Sahih Muslim. Here it is online. Sahih Muslim. This is a Muslim website. Here it is. The chapters of the Quran will appear as flocks of bird, and they will make shifah, intercession, for those that recited the Quran. Here it is. I'm going to post it for everyone to see. So here it is. Watch here. So how does the Quran speak to Allah if the Quran is Allah's speech? Is that Allah speaking to himself?
I don't know.
Exactly. This is the stuff they're not going to teach you. And when they teach you, oh, no, man, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't mean what it says. I know. So make ta'wil. Here you go. Abu Umama said he heard Allah's messenger say, recite the Quran, for on the day of resurrection, it will come as an intercessor for those who recite it. Wait, the Quran is going to be a Shafi intercessor for you if you recite it, but then it gets worse for you. Recite the two bright ones, Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran. That's chapter 2 and 3. Why? For on the day of resurrection, they will come. So chapter 2 and chapter 3 will come as two clouds. So they're going to appear in visible shape. Or two shades, or two flocks of birds in ranks, pleading with Allah for those who recite them. Recite Surah Al-Baqarah, for to take recourse in it is a blessing, and to give it up is a cause of grief, and the magicians cannot confront it. So how does the chapters of the Quran appear separately, and how do they appear in visible shape for you to see, and how do they speak separately from each other to Allah if it's all the speech of Allah?
Yeah, I guess I'd have to show that to someone in my masajid.
Yeah, show it to Shamsi. The guy who verified this. Okay, but my point is, if this is true, and it is because it's Sahih Muslim, it's not Da'if, brother. Sahih Muslim. If this is true, that means each chapter of the Quran is living and conscious, and each chapter of the Quran can appear separately, and it can appear in a shape that you see these chapters. And that means if the Quran has 114 surahs, that means you have 114 uncreated living beings who can appear visibly and speak and argue with Allah. So how many gods do you have, dude?
One. Well,
No, because there are 114 surahs. They're uncreated because the Quran is uncreated. Each surah can appear visibly and speak. That's 114 uncreated living beings who can speak. And some of them will speak with Allah. That means if I do math, 114 and Allah, that's 115 gods or 115 divine persons.
again, is it okay? Because I know like a lot of people want to come, but next,
Here, can I give
like,
you my Skype? Here, what I want you to do. Take my Skype. Let me know when you're ready. Bring your questions about the Trinity. You and I can have a serious conversation, just you and me, for as long as you want. But I just gave you my Skype name. Let me know it's you.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Go take these articles, show them to your mom, say, are these authentic? And go online and find them. And don't just listen to responses. Watch my responses to those who tried to refute this, because I've debated them and I have it. Come and say, well, hold on, my brother in humanity. You said this, but this guy said this. Come this week, but let me know, and I'll make a session just for you.
Mm-hmm. Can I
Okay, but
ask
let me
like
know it's you.
yeah? Can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So my question was, I have a problem, not a problem in the sense like they're
No, but you want
something
an
that's hard
explanation.
to understand,
Yeah.
but like when I look at Islam, there are some values that I really like that aren't in like Christianity. For example, like women covering themselves. like fully. I think that's something like, for example, people in like in United States, they mock like the niqab, and I think that it's very something beautiful because
Doesn't know.
who doesn't want his woman to be fully
Really?
covered? Who wants to show
And that's
the
what you
his
think
woman?
makes it beautiful?
Yeah,
Okay, well, let me respond to that. You because you follow the Sunnah, you believe in hijab. There are people who are Quran only Muslims who say that's not what the Quran teaches. They say it's cover your bosom, not your head. But that's another debate. You looked at this one aspect and saying it's beautiful. But my topic today, which we didn't get into, is when I look at Christianity, the New Testament, and Jesus and Paul, and what they say about women, it makes me hate Islam. I'll give you an example. Can you, according to chapter 4, verse 34, if your wife is rebellious and you warn her, she doesn't listen, and you banish her, she doesn't listen, can you beat her?
yes, without causing injury.
Well, that the Quran doesn't say that, and there are hadiths that a man bruised a woman, but put that aside. So you're telling me you'd be okay seeing your father beat your mother if she's rebellious. And that's beautiful about Islam?
Yeah, I mean, again,
Be
without
honest.
there's a,
So if your father was a devout Muslim and your mother rebelled and he beat her, even if he didn't leave a mark, he slapped her. You're okay with that?
I mean, in some sense, he's got to do what he's got to do.
Oh, I see. So your daughter is married to a Muslim man and you love her, and he fears rebellion on her part and he slaps her in the mouth. He's got to do what he's got to do. No, even your response shows you're troubled by that. That's okay. Secondly, we're told in Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14, Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14, this is 20 years before Muhammad, Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14. We're told that if Israel goes to war, because they're going to get attacked, they find a captive woman and she's beautiful. You can take her, but you can't touch her. Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14. You give her a whole month to mourn, grieve for the death of her father and mother. And the sign of mourning at that time was to shave your head, have her change her clothes and put on fresh clothes. Then after a month, you marry her, make her your wife. And if you divorce her, you let her go, set her free, you can't sell her. According to your prophet, according to the Quran, chapter 4, verse 24, and the Sunnah, if you're in jihad, and the Muslims are doing it right now as we speak in Nigeria, in Syria, Iraq, they did this, Afghanistan,
Nigeria, they're
because
not
jihad.
doing jihad. They're doing terrorism in Nigeria.
No, well, that's what you say. They quote the hadith. Let's go with Muhammad. They quote that he's saying that if you're attacked, even though you don't have a khilafah, then it is the duty of Muslims to then protect their land when they're being invaded. That's the argument, right? Like in Afghanistan, it was your Salafi ulama that said that the Russians are invading, then the Muslims need to go and do jihad to protect their ikhwan. But there was no khilafah. Buddy, let's not go there, but let's take it with Muhammad. Chapter 4, verse 24, and the authentic Sunnah, and I'll give it to you. It says, when Muhammad went to war, they took married women captive. Their husbands were alive. The men wanted to have sex with them, but they were feeling ashamed because their husbands were alive. So Allah sent down the ayah saying, forbidden for you are married women, except those whom your right hands possess. So here it says, since you've taken them captive, they're your right hand possession. It doesn't matter they're married. They're yours. You can have sex with them, but make sure they're not pregnant first. And then you can sell them. Are you okay if you're living at the time Muhammad? Be honest with me. God sees your heart. Are you okay if you're living at the time Muhammad? You are not a Muslim. You're a Christian or a Yahudi or pagan. The jihadis come. There's a war. They take you captive. They take your father captive. They take your mother captive. They take your wife captive if you have one. And they have sex with your mother and your wife and sell them, because once they capture you, you are their property. You okay that Muhammad did this?
Well, I mean, if I pay jizya, will they still do it?
Buddy, Muhammad did it to people at Autas. He had their women taken captive and he had them had sex with them. So if you pay jizya, good for you. Your women don't get raped. What I'm saying, would you be okay if you were there and Muhammad and his followers did that to you, to your mother and your wife? Be
No,
honest.
I wouldn't
Say it
love
again.
it. I wouldn't like it.
So then why are you a Muslim, dude? Give it up, man. Your prophet is wicked, brother. I'm being honest with you. So you say the things I like about Islam, but you ignore all the evil and filth. On top of one more I'm going to give you, which is nowhere in the Bible, because the Bible assumes a woman has to be mature enough to be married off. Your religion in chapter 65, verse 4, and I'll give you the Hadith Bukhari, Muslim, and Ibn Kathir, talks about talaq, divorce. Okay? Let me show you. You don't have daughters. I do. I have a 13 or 11. May they outlive me. But if someone came to my 13-year-old or my 11-year-old and wanted to have sex with them, I'd be in jail for murder or he's going to have to kill me. But let me read to you. Talaq, chapter of divorce. It's talking about iddah. The iddah is the waiting period. If you marry a woman, you had sex with her, you divorce her, she has to wait 3 months. That's the iddah. If there's no sex, there's no iddah, no waiting period. And I'll give you all the hadiths and the scholars, you don't believe me, and I'll give you the article. But here, I want to leave you with this. Unless you want to talk more, it's up to you. Chapter 65, verse 4 of the Quran. And those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, they can't menstruate anymore, that's menopause. For them, the iddah, prescribed period, meaning how long must they wait if they're divorced to remarry, right? If you have doubts about their periods, it's 3 months. Now watch this. And for those who have no courses, they are still immature, who have not menstruated yet, have not had their periods because they're young girls who are premature. Their iddah is 3 months likewise. Your Quran says that you can marry girls, minors, who haven't had their periods, and have sex with them and divorce them, and they wait 3 months to be married again. Be honest with me before God. You're okay if a 54-year-old man writes a contract to marry a 9-year-old who hasn't had her period playing with dolls, and he sleeps with her and he penetrates her, then divorces her so that she can be married off to someone else. Would you be okay with that?
Are you referring to Aisha's?
I'm referring to this 65 verse 4 because it said it again. Whether it's Muhammad or not, we'll talk about Muhammad. You want me to show it to you again?
Yeah, sure.
Here it is, one more time. Here it is. Because you're saying the good things about Islam, but you ignore these evil things. Here it is, 65 verse 4. And those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, meaning they don't have periods in it because they're old. That's called menopause. How long do they wait to be remarried when they're divorced? For them, the iddah, if you have doubts about their periods, is 3 months. So they wait 3 months, then they get remarried. Now watch this part. Let me put it fully on the screen. Okay? Watch here. Let me do fully on the screen. Hold on. So you can see it. All right. Okay. Here you go. Right here. The full 65 verse 4 of the Quran. Here it is. So you can see it. And for those who have no courses, who have not had their periods, why? They are still immature. They're young. They haven't had their periods. Their iddah, meaning how long they wait after they're divorced, is 3 months likewise, except in the case of death. So I'm giving you a scenario because it happens in Muslim countries, not only your prophet. And I'll give you what Ibn Kathir, Qurtubi, Bukhari, all of them say. Would you be okay if a 54-year-old man in Afghanistan married a 9-year-old who's playing with dolls, brought her to his house and had sex with her, only to divorce her later? Yes or no?
In today's age, no.
But wait, this is not only for today's age. I mean, it's not only for time Muhammad. This is a command, never abrogated. It's supposed to be carried out till the end, until Isa returns. So why are you saying in this age, no?
Well, from what I've heard, you can't have relations, you can't consume the marriage until she has reached puberty.
No, you heard wrong. That's a lie. There's nowhere in the Quran that says that or in the Sunnah. The condition, it says, you do not have sex with her if she can't handle penetration. Let me give it to you from your Salafi website, Islam QA. Quoting scholars, Nawawi, Ibn Hajar, and Bukhari. No, that's a lie. Whoever told you that. So again, since this ayah is for all Muslims to the end of the age. So again, you're trying to tell me become Muslim, but now you're telling me these commands are only for that time. So then forget about it. Would you be okay if a 54-year-old man took a 9-year-old and had sex with her in Afghanistan?
No.
You're not okay with it. So why do you follow Muhammad?
Or
So
actually, if like because we talk about age, what I would say is if she was a woman who was mentally
What
stable.
9-year-old woman is a woman at 9 when she is psychologically premature?
Okay, so therefore no.
Okay, but your prophet did that with Aisha, and he
How?
has it
What
in
is your
Quran.
proof that she was psychologically immature? I mean, at
Because
that
she was
time you
playing
had
with dolls. She
16-year-olds
was
leading wars.
playing with dolls and on swings. How many mature women play on with dolls and play on swings?
Okay, do you have any proof that
Yes,
at
Sahih
that
Muslim.
time, 1400 years? No, no, not that. I know she played with dolls, but
You know you
at
are
that
now a
time,
dirty bastard. You know that, right? Now you just proved you are a dirty bastard because you want to justify that your 54-year-old pervert slept with a 9-year-old. And what proof I have? It says she was premature minor playing with dolls. So if you see a young girl playing with dolls, that's not proof that she's a minor. So go mount her with your erect penis. You see, now you sound like a sick, dirty bastard.
no, no, because can you please like? I actually like the beginning because we're having like a respectful conversation.
No,
Can you
I
just?
can't respect someone that will justify this pervert who's in hell mounting a 9-year-old. You're listening to yourself?
Yeah, but can I just like let me
Yeah,
finish my point, please? Okay.
you make your point.
So, can you give me proof that playing with dolls is a sign of being?
Yes. Ibn Hajar al Asqalani in Fath al Bari saying, girls can only play with dolls if they haven't reached puberty. Because once you reach puberty, you can't have dolls because those are images. Yes. Ibn Hajar al Asqalani in Fath al Bari explaining why Aisha was allowed to play with dolls till she was around the age 14 because she was a minor who was a child, so she could play with images, which is haram in Islam for women who have reached puberty. Yes. So now you're going to condemn Muhammad?
Again, it would be hypocritical if I didn't do research.
Oh, but it wasn't hypocritical for you to say, well, can you give me proof? And I give you the proof. And now, well, it'll be hypocritical of me to say, Ibn Hajar al Asqalani, in his commentary in Bukhari, he says the reason why Aisha played with dolls when she was taken to Muhammad's home until she was 14, time of Khaybar, is because she was a minor who hadn't reached puberty.
Do you have like any other of the ulama who have said
Buddy, if
anything?
I have to convince you that your pervert molested a 9-year-old, you need to go, man. Keep following this religion. Okay, we'll talk later.
Okay, is it okay if I contact you another day?
Yeah, contact me later. But please go think what you just said, dude, because everyone got disgusted that you justified us. Come back, we'll talk more. You have my Skype.
Okay, thank you.
All
Have a
right?
good day.
Okay, take care.